Nothing good on TV tonight.
Hey, welcome back to ScreenCrush. I'm Ryan Airy, and today we're going to explain the long process of how TV shows actually get made. Now, some of you might have watched a great show like Breaking Bad and wondered, hey, how did they make that? Or you watched a show like Secret Invasion that made you wonder, hey, why did they make that? During our live show Q&As, a lot of you have the same burning question. Why aren't movie studios and TV networks run by the creatives who actually love these stories? Instead, it feels like we're stuck with corporate executives whose decisions are all about cold, hard profit.
Show me the money.
So, to explain how this sausage is made, I got help from Adam Lloyd, a TV writer with a career in both development and production. He's the writer of this video. Now, streaming has completely changed television as we know it. It used to be most shows were made for network television with 26-episode seasons, but then shows like The Sopranos raised the bar, so networks thought they had to spend more and more money to make the shows look more cinematic. And as a result, this has completely changed the industry. Studios are spending millions of dollars on shows that, let's be honest, are kind of mid or just awful. Or worse, they're so expensive that even with a dedicated fandom, a second season just isn't feasible no matter how good it is. For instance, take The Acolyte. People enjoyed it. The show had potential, but Disney canceled it after one season because the huge production costs did not match their viewership hopes. And honestly, it's not just original ideas that face this problem. Even established franchises can get the axe if the numbers don't add up.
Go another fish, asshole.
But to really understand how a TV show gets made and sold today, we need to look back at how the industry got to its current state. Originally, in the silent film era, filmmakers often owned and controlled their own studios. But when the jazz singer introduced sound into cinema, filmmaking equipment suddenly became so expensive that it required investments from banks. And this is when Hollywood went corporate. And these massive budgets spawned what we now call Hollywood's golden age. Now, back in the golden age, it was all about the studio system. The big five studios, Warner Brothers, RKO, Paramount, MGM, and 20th Century Fox, could contract talent for years. Actors, writers, directors, artists, they all had permanent jobs. This meant that studios had a deep bench of talent across all their projects, ensuring both quality and quantity. But there was a big problem. It was basically a monopoly. They didn't just make the movies and hire the talent, they also controlled the whole pipeline. They owned the production lots, the distribution, and most importantly, they owned the movie theaters themselves. It was absolute power. So if you were a film from, say, Universal, you had to beg the big five just to get shown somewhere. They controlled what got made, by whom, and what audiences would even be able to see it. This level of control was eventually deemed illegal under US antitrust laws. In 1948, the Supreme Court's Paramount decrees forced the big five to sell off their movie theaters. Now, this was a massive blow. Almost simultaneously, television burst onto the scene in the 1950s, pulling more and more people away from theaters. This one-two punch severely weakened the studios. They couldn't afford these long-term expensive contracts anymore, especially with actors already fighting them in court. The old system just became unsustainable.
We can't keep doing this.
Now, by the 1950s and early 60s, owned talent contracts were largely gone. Studios shifted to hiring talent per project. As these legacy studios faced mounting pressures, many were eventually sold off to larger corporations, transforming them from creative hubs into divisions within massive profit-driven conglomerates. So, long story short, the creatives who loved making stories were then sidelined, and corporate suits became the decision makers. Now, don't get me wrong, not all studio executives are evil, money-hungry people. Many started in the industry out of a genuine love for storytelling, but their job is to greenlight ideas that they think will turn a profit. And this brings us to a crucial point. The film and television industry is a business. And today, with studios hyper-focused on profit, they're choosing to make more of their already owned, proven IP. I mean, look at Warner Brothers. They have made bank with Batman, Game of Thrones, and Harry Potter. So what are they making today? 2 new Batman movies, multiple Game of Thrones spin-offs, including a video game, and a brand new Harry Potter TV show.
No. No, sorry.
Well, that sounds like it'd be super difficult to get something new and original made.
Oh God, you're not wrong. Selling an original idea for a movie or series is one of the hardest things to do in the industry today. With the losses studios took during the recent WGA and SAG-AFTRA strikes, and throughout all of COVID, they're even more hesitant to spend money on something brand new. Those strikes really highlighted the ongoing battle between the creatives and the business side.
Show me the money.
But that's not to say that we don't get original shows. I mean, shows like Abbott Elementary, Hacks, The Bear, and Go hosts are all examples of original ideas becoming successful past their freshman season. So, how exactly does an original TV show get from a creator's mind to your screen in this money-hungry landscape? Well, let's pretend that I have an amazing idea for a brand new TV show and I want to sell that show to Dougie Plus.
Yes, please, sell me something. What is it?
Okay, it's great. It's about an estranged family that gets magically sucked into a comic book, and in order to escape, they have to help each other unlock their special abilities and defeat the menace who trapped them there. Now, as the creator who wants to sell this show, the beginning steps are the hardest because I first have to figure out what my entire series is about.
Well, you just said what it's about.
No, what I gave you is called a log line. That briefly explains what happens. But for a studio, I gotta get a comprehensive pitch document or a pitch deck. The whole show, the main characters, their arcs, overall themes, an entire season of stories, a treatment for the pilot episode, or even story areas for future seasons. All of that needs to be written down. A deck is typically more visual, great for a quick overview, while a document is more word-heavy, allowing for a deeper dive into story details. Simply put, it's a hard copy of all the information that will help buyers become more interested in what I'm selling. Now, a really cool example of this is the pitch deck for Netflix's Stranger Things. Years ago, the Duffer Brothers released a copy of their deck for what was originally titled The Montauk Project. As you can see, the visual tone and characters they envisioned are still how the show looks and feels today. The 80s aesthetic, the character descriptions, and nods to comps like A Nightmare on Elm Street are all elements that went on to be in the Mega Hits 5-season run.
Okay, person, I have seen your pitch deck, and I, an executive at Dougie Plus, would like to move forward discussing this with you.
Amazing, so that means I have a pitch meeting set up. This is where the creator of the show meets with the studio or network development executives to pitch my entire series in person. So this allows us to meet on a human-to-dog level, discussing the show in a conversation. This process will allow the people with buying power at the studio to ask questions and ultimately decide if they want to pursue the project or not.
Okay, then I decide to buy your show.
That's what they talk about!
Great! So once this step happens, you officially have something in development. Many of you might have heard of something called development hell, referring to announced projects that eventually die because they couldn't move forward in development. A current example of this is Marvel's new Blade movie. No matter how much time passes since it was announced, Marvel hasn't shot one frame of the project due to the studio pushing its release date. Movies and TV shows can spend months or even years in this phase with no guarantee that that project will ever see the light of day.
There's only ever gonna be one Blade.
But since we have a show in development, the next step would be for me, the creator/writer, to write an outline of the entire pilot episode to give to the execs over at Dougie Plus. An outline is a document that outlines every small detail that happens in your episode, scene by scene, act by act. Once we turn this into the studio, we wait to hear if the execs have notes on what we've submitted, and if they do, we have another meeting where I listen to their notes and questions. I would then return to the outline to make my revisions based on their feedback. And believe me, sometimes executives give contradicting notes, making the revision process even trickier.
What the hell are you talking about?
After my revised pilot outline is submitted to the studio, another hard phase begins. Waiting. If the executives are pleased with my revisions of the outline, they will order an official pilot script. But if they're not happy with the revised outline, they have the right to ask for another outline, or they can just flat out kill the development of the project and choose not to go forward, ultimately killing the entire thing.
I was wondering if I could read it, then kill you if I hate it?
Yeah, but couldn't you just take it somewhere else, like another studio or something?
I could not, because legally, when the studio bought my pitch, they ultimately bought the overall story, characters, and arcs. They own it, and if they want to kill it, they can. If I were to take it somewhere else, the studios could sue both the other company and me for making something that they already own the rights to.
Well, good news, person. We are going to move forward and buy that pilot script.
That's exciting. So now it's more of the same. I write the script, submit it for notes, make revisions and revisions and revisions until we finally reach the end of development. Once I turn in the final draft of my pilot script, then it goes to the studio and network higher-ups to see if this is a project that they still want to spend millions of dollars actually making. If the heads of the studio agree that it's a project worth pursuing, I officially enter the next step, pre-production. But if the bigwigs look at the show and the numbers and they can't all agree that it's worth making, development ends and the project dies. This is naturally one of the most stressful times of making a TV show.
No!
Now that the script is written, the next step is to find our cast. The studio casting department then works with me and any other producers assigned to our show to find the right actors. While the casting process starts, I would then meet with tons of people who would be interviewing to be the heads of our crew. Line producers, costume designers, prop masters, editors, camera operators, and many other roles have to be fully staffed for our pilot shoot to be a success. Once the main crew is hired, they then hire their own crew to begin building sets, costumes, etc., creating a crew that could consist of maybe hundreds of people. When the actors are cast, the sets are built, and any rewrites that need to be made are done, the next phase begins. Production. This refers to the time period between the time when the cameras start rolling until the last shot of the pilot. If we get picked up to series, then everybody working on this production would hopefully be asked back, guaranteeing employment in a profession where that is not always secured. After everything has been filmed, the next process is post-production. This is where the show is edited from weeks of shooting down to a deliverable episode.
Let me guess. They got notes.
Boy, do they. And this is where the notes from the studio and network count the most, because they are the ones with the power to greenlight an entire season. Once the final cut of the episode is delivered, the project is officially taken from the creative hands and placed in the hands of the executives. They then run the final numbers with the company finance department, the marketing department debates its appeal, and most importantly, the episode is given multiple rounds of test screenings. If the series gets negative feedback, what would be the point in spending almost 9 figures to produce something that nobody will watch?
Well, person, guess what? We have officially picked up your series for a full season.
This is where the fun begins.
Yeah. As the showrunner, I am the boss of every department. This means that I have to hire a team of writers to help me write the 10 episodes that we've been greenlit for. This is known as assembling a writer's room, the beating heart of the show. The showrunner hires a few upper-level writers to be their executive producers and co-executive producers, and to serve as the showrunner's right-hand people. And these are people who have worked on multiple shows and are capable of being a proxy for the showrunner if they're not in the room, which is a common occurrence because showrunners are typically spread very thin. Now, at the bottom of the ladder is the staff writer, and it goes up through story editor, executive story editor, producer, supervising producer, and so on. Each level has more power and a higher salary. Then, for about 10 weeks or more, writers are assigned outlines and scripts, which then are submitted to the network and studio for approval. After more notes, each script enters what is called a table draft for the table read, where every department gathers to hear the episode read aloud by the cast. Now, there's a lot of notes because the company has a brand to protect, and this is where the Office of Standards and Practices comes in.
If you can't say something nice, don't say nothing at all.
Now, just say what now?
So, S&P is a division that sifts through every piece of media to ensure that nothing will tarnish the brand of the company, which is why in most Disney Plus shows, you can only get away with saying a few cuss words.
Captain America!
And on Amazon Prime, you can have a superhero and an octopus.
Oh, hey, 1, she's a mollusk. 2, she's feelings.
After a few episodes are turned into production drafts, we bring back our cast and crew and begin filming. Once production starts, the wheel turns mostly the same as it did in the pilot. We shoot, we cut, we get notes, we recut, we get approval, and the episode goes out for distribution. Then, years of work is turned over to the audience. And today, that step is probably the scariest.
I'm so scared right now, you shut up!
This is where the business side, the creative side, and the fandom side all clash. Fandoms, let's face it guys, can be toxic. Like, let's look at Ironheart. Its journey for fans was long and difficult. It started as a movie concept in 2018, then morphed into a Disney Plus series, but then was pushed back by about a year and a half because of the strikes, finally dropping then in June 2025. The creatives, led by Ryan Coogler and Chinaka Hodge, did an amazing job making an engaging MCU show that was drenched in Black American culture. They made this fantastic series, but there was hardly any marketing for it. And on top of that, before it was even released, trolls and racists did everything they could to post negative reviews online before they even watched the show. All of this is to say that if a show is gift wrapped and ready, it can still face wild, unforeseen challenges that even the creatives have no control over.
Well, person, I'm sorry to say that after much consideration and a solid run that you should be proud of, Dougie Plus has decided to cancel your show.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Darn it. Well, cancellations are all a part of the business. It's happened to almost every working creative in television, and it can feel like a punch in the gut. After spending what could be years with the same cast, crew, and writers, the show is abandoned, the sets are torn down, and those 100 plus crew members are now unemployed. Then the writer-creator goes back to the beginning of the development process with a brand new idea and tries to do the same thing all over again.
Right back to the beginning.
This can be a demoralizing process, but when you're a part of a show that actually reached people and meant something to people, you take the win that your project even got made, dust your shoulders off, and keep following the dream of making universal stories for all types of audiences. Now, let's be extremely clear. This video is not to deter anybody from following your dream of being a storyteller. Quite the contrary. Never has there been a better time for storytellers to make their own stories. Independent filmmaking is on the rise, and there are even series on YouTube that have a solid $500,000 budget to create fun comedies that can be uploaded without the involvement of a for-profit network or studio. And this also wasn't a video to drag corporate executives. If anything, we just want to show the difference between the business side and the creative side. There are many executives who care about making new stories that speak to a wide variety of audiences. In fact, some execs welcome and celebrate recent company decisions that are hiring creatives to take up the mantle of running their own studios. A fantastic example is James Gunn being the co-president of the new DC studios with Peter Safran. And how exciting was it for Star Wars fans to finally have creatives like Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau being considered to take over Kathleen Kennedy's job as the head of Lucasfilm. These creatives have shown time and time again that they understand the source material, and they've proven to their fans time and again that they, and our beloved fandoms, would be in good hands. If the business can stay on track of making the right moves of merging corporate and creative, then we think that audiences of all kinds of stories have something great to look forward to.
Dear God, it's beautiful.
But what do you guys think? Has anybody ever worked on a TV show? If you had your favorite show canceled prematurely, let us know about it in the comments below. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe and smash that bell for alerts. For ScreenCrush, I'm Ryan Airy.